I knew that
that thing you did with paper.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
art
that's
history
right.
for
That's
so
right.
anyway, she said that to
Yeah, this was a this was a drawing that someone back out.
my name is Chappell.
When it sold out.
Catterton, ladies and gentlemen. So everyone brought their love tonight, right? Anyway, I'd like to welcome you to Barrel Proof Lounge. This is our 11th Poetry Salon. We started in April, National Poetry Month last year, April 30th, and have done 10 so far. And if we get through tonight, we're going to have 11. So, Rob Catterton, who you heard on the piano, a thoughtful and original pianist, best known for his album of original music, Calico Cat. He's also published 3 solo albums featuring music from the Grateful Dead and the Beatles, as well as diversified collection of singles. Peace through music to you all. Rob Catterton. Okay, our first reader is William Greenwood. I'm gonna open with a sonnet from 100 Love Sonnets of Pablo Neruda in the English version, and then William is gonna come up and recite the Spanish version. And his book of poems will follow. I want to give you a little bit of an idea of who he is. He was born in Arizona, grew up in California. After several years of university study of languages and social sciences, he received an undergraduate degree in philosophy. Subsequently, he worked with farm workers and small farmers here for 20 years. Another 25 years in several Latin America countries, as well as Palestine and Afghanistan. He's international. He has translated several Latin American poets and has 4 chapbooks of poetry. Then we have Gwynn O'Gara. Her latest book, We Who Dream, from Finishing Line Press. Her earlier collections include Snake Woman Poems and chapbooks, Fixer Upper, Winter at Green Haven, Sea Cradles. For over 25 years, she's worked with California poets in the schools in San Francisco and Sonoma County, helping students of all ages and backgrounds express themselves through words. Best job I ever had, she said. She was honored and happy to serve as Poet Laureate of Sonoma County from 2010 to 2012, meeting and encouraging fellow citizens in the pursuit of poetry. Following our first set, we're going to take a 5-minute break or something. Shawna Swetech, the very first poetry salon we had on April 30th, Shawna was, I think, the first person who walked up to me and said, do you have an open mic? And I thought, well, yeah, I want to get to that. So I got her number, and she's done a couple of them here, and she's a part of our troupe, poetry troupe. Shawna Swetech. She's a retired medical surgical nurse, a poet, visual artist, integrative wellness practitioner. Her poems and art range from personal to political, drawing inspiration from deep wells of human nature and the natural world. Her poetry in various journals and anthologies, including Rattle, The Healing Muse, Arts Mecca, Pulse, and the American Journal of Nursing, among others. Her first collection, based on her nursing career, entitled Standing in Their Fire, was released in January, just a month ago, 26. Shawna believes poetry and art are important for healing medicines for the ills in the modern world. Amen. And this is a place outside of those hills. This is a little sanctuary for us. Well, I hope I remember this one. I forgot it. Okay. Here are the bread, the wine, the table, the house. A man's needs and a woman's and a life's. Peace whirled through and settled in this place. The common fire burned to make this light. Hail to your two hands, which fly and make their white creations, the singing and the food. Salve, the wholesomeness of your busy feet. Vira, the ballerina who dances with the broom. Those rugged rivers of water and of threat, tortuous pavilions of the foam, incendiary hives and reefs. Today, they are this respite, your blood and mine, this path starry and blue as the night, this never-ending, simple tenderness. Thank you. Pablo Neruda.
Thank you, Timothy, for the introduction and for the opportunity to ensure that people get an adequate hearing of Neruda's original music. This is Sonnet 53. Aquí está el pan, el vino, la mesa, la morada, el menester del hombre, la mujer y la vida. A este sitio corría la paz vertiginosa. Por esta luz ardió la común quemadura. Honor a tus dos manos que vuelan preparando los blancos resultados del canto y la cocina. Salve la integridad de tus pies corredores. Viva la bailarina que baila con la escoba. Aquellos bruscos ríos con aguas y amenazas, aquel atormentado pabellón de la espuma, aquellos incendiarios panales y arrecifes, son hoy este reposo de tu sangre en la mía, este cauce estrellado y azul como la noche, esta simplicidad sin fin de la ternura. So as Timothy said in the introduction, I will indeed read a selection from my latest book of love poems. But I want to begin with a couple of earlier ones. The first one is a short poem in 4 stanzas in a form that was frequently used by a Guatemalan poet that I was translating in the 1970s, but with imagery very much under the influence of Pablo Neruda. Isolated instances. When we met, birds went off in my eyes the way they do with night flying over the horizon. It was different for you. When I floated over the kelp beside you, waking and sleeping, your long hair across your back said something in Japanese. When I walk up the hill of your shoulder, I have to build a small fire and stretch out in the dark light, eating my way across an apricot. But when my hands run over the knuckles of your other lovers, I want to crack them like nuts. When it dawns, here we're no different. Here's another love poem from that same era. In your absence. With you away, this half-life keeps losing electrons, closing in on sleep. No matter the latitude, these eyes more skilled in your body than water, the last time we were surrounded. Go in search of you, and I show the night wind what is to know about distance. My carrier wings find you now at home in your skin. Come and cross your equator. Oh, my love, this terrain is the new world. Planting a kiss on your shoulder. Café con leche between my lips. Bougainvillea between the eyes. Thank you. So, because my chap book harkens back to the second book of Neruda, I wanted to offer a bilingual sampling of his work, which is the first poetry I really seriously set my hand at translating. It's from when he was a teenager. Ricardo Eliezer Neftali Reyes Basualto, who, after this book was published, he was always known for the rest of his life by his pseudonym, Pablo Neruda. It's one of the most often reprinted books in modern poetry. And it was the conceptual basis for mine, so I wanted to read something of it. But I couldn't decide on just one poem. So I committed the sacrilege of selecting 8 stanzas that I happen to love very much, reordered them. It's just 20 lines. So I'll read the original and then my translation. I would point out that about translation, there are many different schools. One school is make it literal, which I think is a fiction, but still it's a worthy objective, best exemplified by the translations of W.S. Merwin. The second approach, make it new, a phrase coined by Ezra Pound. And a third approach, make it sayable in English, best exemplified by Robert Bly. My translations have a combination of all three, depending on the obstacles or the opportunities that the original offers. Cuerpo de mujer, blancas colinas, muslos blancos, te pareces al mundo en tu actitud de entrega. Womanly body, white thighs, white hills, you look like the world stretched out in surrender. Mis palabras llovieron sobre ti, acariciándote. Amé desde hace tiempo tu cuerpo de nácar soleado. My words rain down, caressing you. I love your skin under the sun, turning to mother of pearl. Ahora también, pequeña, me traes madreselvas y tienes hasta los senos perfumados. Mientras el viento triste galopa matando mariposas, yo te amo, y mi alegría muerde tu boca de ciruela. Right now, my girl, you come with arms full of honeysuckle covering your breasts. The sad wind gallops, slaughtering butterflies, but I'm loving you, and my joy bites the plum of your mouth. Como pañuelos blancos de adiós viajan las nubes, el viento las sacude con sus viajeras manos. The clouds move like white handkerchiefs, saying goodbye, waved by the hands of the traveling wind. Part 2 of Neruda. De pronto el viento aúlla y galopa mi ventana y golpea mi ventana cerrada. El cielo es una red cuajada de peces sombríos. Aquí vienen a dar todos los vientos, todos. Se desviste la lluvia. Suddenly the wind howls and bangs at my window. The sky is a net overflowing with shadowy fish. All the winds hit. They all blow here. The rain takes off her clothes. Inclinado en las tardes, tiro mis tristes redes a tus ojos oceánicos. Leaning into the afternoon, I throw my sad nets out to your eyes like the ocean. Te traeré de las montañas flores alegres, copihue, avellanas oscuras y cestas silvestres de besos. From the mountains, I'll bring you bellflowers, bright red, and maroon hazelnuts in baskets of wild kisses. And finally, quiero hacer contigo lo que la primavera hace con los cerezos. I want to do with you what spring does with the cherry trees. So now I'll move to a selection from my recent chapbook of almost the same name as Neruda's, dedicated to my wife of 32 years. Here's a courtship poem, Spontaneous Combustion. We made our way across a meadow. Wind blew through, tall grass like water. Wild iris tightly hugged the ground beneath the waves. My fingers kayaked fjords between yours, circling your wrist, coursing a full arm's length to skirt this brand new continent. My braille tongue moved the way the sea does with the shore, then contradicted all the laws of physics and combusted. Next one is from when we lived back east. We liked to go to the coast of North Carolina in late winter, the time when we had birthdays on succeeding days. Proof at the Outer Banks. Boa tight, your contours mirror this bronze and this copper and blood orange sand. Your pulse connects the spiraled cochlea inside my inner ear to the fact of your heart. I offer this circuitous proof of our love. A pelican pulls one steady wing apart from the other and back together again. Here's one on the occasion of our 10th anniversary. It's a kind of reaffirmation of vows in the form of a series of pledges. And it's titled, Pledge. My eyes wide to read your every line. My cascading sight to deciphering your body language. My spooner hands to your offering shoulders, the arc of your arms, sweet lock keyed to mine. My prehensile feet to wander like moccasins, the length of your legs under cover of night. And my lips undumbfounding to your love, my daily bread, your whole wheat baking in the fires of my heart. We lived in the Middle East for almost 5 years, but our first trip there was for our honeymoon. La Matina. Geraniums erupted green to red across verandas under the Italian sun. When we spilled the breakfast pitcher full of maracuya, bright orange juice pooled across the terracotta tiles, its reflection bouncing up onto the ceiling of our whitewashed room. That spotlight flickered like the leaves of morning glory, trailing from the pergola, stitching the clouds to the horizon. Such a visual adagio echoed the promise we would last as long as the aquamarine maneuvers with the deep blue sea. One thing that Neruda does that influenced me greatly is to invoke the physical world as a referent to the lived human world. This next poem is from a visit to New Mexico, where we just happened on a gem and mineral show of Native Americans. New Mexico Compass. When no birds arrive to announce Jasper dawn, you orient the mystery out of the east. When my feet stutter under cactus sun, you turn the sky turquoise and bring the south home. When the flint of the day no longer sparks, you stand for the sunset off in the west. And when the bark of not one tree bears moss, all the obsidian night, you alone are my north. So my work took us to long-term residencies in several countries, which afforded access to some very exotic places. And this gives rise to the appearance of so many vacations. Here's one from St. Lucia, Caribbean listing. We float on blue trade winds, suspended by the hammock strings of our good fortune. A cocoa palm curves into backdrop sky. Canary yellow goldfinch effervesce about the crown's inverted basket of lime-colored fruit. Green fronds clack their herringbone fingers. A hummingbird rustles the passion flower vine. I starboard list alongside your port as we tie up, flying fish set sail. And finally, Neruda ended his 20 love poems with a song of despair. Appropriate for a teenager, I suppose, but it never worked for me. I end mine with a song of hope. Dawn comes in the kitchen window, bud break green out of the naked maple. Steam rises from the wooden fence like a blessing following the light. May such good fortune once again befall me that I see our round world turn another day to wake up by your side. How do I thank the stars for dropping squarely in the luck of my two hands? O you apple of these eyes, who from the whorls of my fingers conjures lines of praise and psalms of song.
William Greenwood. Next we have Gwynn O'Gara.
I'm going to read mostly about love and many shades of love tonight. And I'm going to start with sort of an atmospheric, love is in the air landscape from my chapbook, Fixer Upper. Does anyone recognize this old building by any chance? Tell me later if you do. It's been fixed up. It's at Sanford and Occidental. Calafia. Sedges and reeds are the fine hairs on her body. Poppies and larkspur, the buttons on her dress. Her trees are red. Ferns, taller than men, thrive at the roots. In her secret ravines are smashed-in cars, rusted out, their love songs on the radio. Organized. This is another Love is in the Air atmospheric poem. It's called South Park Cafe. The punky beatnik sips champagne and sorrel soup. Her brown curls smell of cress, her bare legs sting. Young without knowing it, she reaches under the table for her retro 60s lover with stringy hair and daisied shirt. His eyes flicker. Persimmon seeds she drops like breadcrumbs, so others will follow. So we're all familiar with these. I hope you're not familiar with this, but probably you are. Sometimes love is just foolish. It's just ridiculous, and we hang on nonetheless. And this poem's called Love Crazed, and one of the words is nafs, K-N-A-F-S. And I got it, I thought, from the Arabic, and it means silliness. Okay. Love crazed. When you brought me strawberries, dripping wild red, I knew you and I were perfectly matched. I like pretty things. It's not a weakness, woman's sport, or part of my nafs. It's a gift to notice when tiles and towels perfectly match. Thumbelina can't go live in the mud with Toad's son. Like my mom and stepdad, they're the opposite of perfectly matched. Freakishly strong roots reads the Supertunia label. Sometimes we grow roots around air or stones. We and certain petunias are perfectly matched. Bears chase salmon into the shallows, then grab them. They miss a lot. One day, a bear ate 42 salmon. She and the river were perfectly matched. You think I laugh too much? The last time I was with you, all I did was cry. Such differences prove that you and I are mysteriously yet perfectly matched. Gwynn, you always were a fool about men. Ask him to send you an apricot from his wedding feast. You'll taste how he and she are perfectly matched. Thank you. Now, sometimes you may be familiar with just totally random lust. And this poem is called Lyric from Mall 116,001. Oh, round meat man in the grocery store, roll with me in the back behind boxes of canned apple juice. Oh, whiskery contractor in the parking lot, lay me down in the dark of your truck with your dogs and tools. Oh, glowing guy in the health food store, help me pop C's and E's and come in monumental bursts of supplemental bliss. Oh, studious fellow eyeing the frozen dinners, bend me over the deep freeze until the ice cream melts to soup. I'll think of you when longing needs a different face across the kitchen table. Thank you. And this is, I'd say, an imagist's take on eros and love and emotion and attachment and creativity. Mostly romantic love. We can't get out of here, we own the place. I kneel before you like a beaver and dance around you like a hummingbird. my cells splash again. A heron takes root in my neck, and a cellar full of oats appears in every house in the neighborhood. Wild dream, come to rest in my arms, sister in man's flesh, wink of nature, amorous as the dawn. Ah, yes. Now things they change when you engage or you start a long-term journey, a commitment. Many things come in, but it becomes more than the two people. And this is called Song for a Bride. There's nothing like it. Beloved, a good man purring at your breast, the cellar full of groats and salt. Your future brewing like soup on the stove. You learn about proportion and the language your lover dreams in. Exploring the landscape you will age with, you send your boats out low in the water with the bulk of your history, quick and shimmery with delight. Sometimes he comes to you so weighed down, you go on strike until he unloads them himself, or your heart cracks enough to let him in. Sometimes on unmarked anniversaries of when you first understood each other or his first appearance in your dreams, your boats sail off together, no longer servants, but envoys, meeting and going off on their own. Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Around 2017, I still am very concerned about the climate and the world and the politics. And love gets us through. It gets us through every day, whether it's love of a person, love of a pursuit of music. I don't have to tell you. But this one's called Sailing Through Lava. Salt light, bottom feeders. The rattan of worn-out alliances catches fire in little pieces. Infusing the currents, microscopic Godzillas circle. Our redwood board smolders. Bullies pirate silence, burn rope for heat, torch homesteads. Rafters of ospreys, moan timbers, our driftwood house chars, the knots of love songs, cinders. Stitched to salt water, drifting on hunger, bandages flake to ash. Our saliva sizzles. You smuggle joy into my rill, flake my mica into gold. What is love without a bittersweet poem? This is my last one. It's called The Pharaoh's Daughter. Oh, there's my nap. I think I should just... I don't care what you do with my body. Wrap me in twine, pluck my eyes and heart, and place them into patient strangers. Let that fat scribe write anything. Lies, endearments, praise, they're all the same on a windy day. Carry my ashes to our favorite spot and order me a Pinot Noir. Or leave them at home collecting dust on the mantel. Just make sure I've got an alabaster jug like Dad's. Oblivion and gin fill his, but leave mine empty. Let my spirit pour like oil and slip through the god's fingers to return to a bed of rock. My only companion, a turtle, my only weakness, love. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Pleasure. And now I'd like you to help me welcome Rob Catterton to the stage, and we're going to perform a poem in honor of the Year of the Horse. And in honor of the Year of the Horse, we're going to perform a poem called I Was Wild Once. It's about a horse who gave up her freedom, yet yearns to return to her freedom. And it's called I Was Wild Once. I'd like to see you, but anyway. I was wild once. I belonged with canyons and plains, mint and sage. Wind galloped beside me. Rocky slopes held me in their warmth. Green called me. Water, too. One day, a creature clicked like raven. I ran, he followed. Under a red sky, he sang of the day's beauty and my own that were now separate. He left me something good to eat. I let him touch me. He blew into my nostrils. I drank his air. I grew to like his smell of man's sweat and smoke. I waited for the sweet oats. He rubbed my flank and belly and taught me ways to move. I took the bit for the oats. I no longer forage and wander. I stay in the corral. I thought the gate kept others out. Some days I long to break free and take up my old life of water cracking through stone. But he sings, and I carry us into the air. Canyons, sage, clicked, warmth, sweet, touch me, ways to move, flank, corral, no longer. He sings us into the air. Thank you. Rob Catterton.
Gwynn O'Gara, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Catterton. Rob and I are going to do a couple of spoken word pieces. One is a love poem I wrote to my wife, Sarah. And some of these things are gifts. They just come clear out of everything falls together. You do one draft and maybe you add a word and it's done. And this is a 3-minute piece. So I'll start with that. Oh, my querida, mi amor, we sit by the fire, you with your apple, me with desire. It is you I adore. Oh, my querida, mi amor, under musical rain, into the night. Out of hunger, plates empty from the food you made. It is you I admire. The high road changes every turn. The place we thought lost, the place we returned. Like the diamond handed us by a roadside stranger, our home at last, out of fire's danger. Oh, my querida, mi amor, waken from a drift, mouth dry, parched lips. I bring you guava and honey. It is I you inspire. Oh, my querida, mi amor, you wander off to sleep. Thirst, wet from the kiss of nectar. Sailing ships and lightning bolts await your dreams. The high road changes every turn. The place we thought lost, the place we returned. Like the diamond handed us by a roadside stranger. Our home at last, out of fire's danger. Thank you. This is a more labored piece, actually. I had the riff, the melody, and then I wanted to put some words to that. So it is a tribute to the horses in our landscape and the people who care for them. It's called Hooves of Our Roads, the Trainer and the Farrier. The trainer's a woman, the farrier's a guy. Both friends, you know. Okay, so let's see, how's it go? She drifts out early in the morning. The fog is thick and cool. The horses calling her. Horses calling her in sleep. She packs a truck for the coast ride. She drew up the plan last night. There's one more horse to train, one more horse to train today. She works to lift their burdens. They swam the rivers of her youth. On the farms, on the ranches, horses graze in the high clover. Sundown quiets the grazing land. Red sky brightens town fair. He's got one more horse to shoe, one more horse to shoe today. Drives nail through the white line, his wrist dense as the cannon bone. They trust their feet and hands, they trust their hooves in his hand. He works to lift their burden. They swam the rivers of his youth on the farm. On the barns, on the ranches, horses graze in high clover. She joins the filly on the ring floor. It smells her hands and sides. The horse remembers to have no fear. Horse remembers no fear today. The man who rides in rodeo is a boy who slept in barns. No day goes by without hide under hands, without hooves in his hands. They work to lift their burdens. They swam the rivers of their youth. On the farms, on the ranches, horses graze in high clover. trainer and the farrier sleep just where they stand, shape the hooves of our roads, hooves of our roads. Shape the hooves of our road. Thank you very much.
I'm going to get us started off with a couple of pieces, and then I'm going to call the first reader and then let you know who the second person is who will be on deck and ready to go. So my name is Shawna Swetech, and I am a poet. I've been writing about 20 years, possibly, maybe a little bit more. And I wrote this first poem for my husband on Valentine's Day 10 years ago, as I discovered when I looked at the date. You know, time flies. It's called 6 Kinds of Love. Ancient Greece defined 6 kinds of love, and most days they live at our house. There's Ludus, the playful kind, and Eros, mad and passionate. Philia for loyal love of friends and family. Agape, selfless, and pragma, long-standing. And then the big one, the earth we are ground in, Philantia, the love of self. We fought hardest for that one, flailed and failed so many times. We were like seeds that needed the wildfire of each other for old wounds to scar over and fade. Finally, our singular trees took root, grew tall, entwined. 50 years later, deep and strong, we're standing in harmony side by side. Tonight, after flowers and sweets, he'll ask me to be his Valentine. I'll invoke every kind of love when I wrap my arms around him and answer with a warm kiss. Thank you. And this poem is a 7th kind of love, and it's for our little 4-legged friends. Felis catus. Dense coat of mink black. Vertical pupil slits in green moon irises. White daggers, mouse-flecked and thinly concealed by small lips. Thick-throated rumbling, his full-length stretch exposing underside, tail-tipped points of his unsheathed front paws. I nuzzle his warm neck, the dark triangle of that moist nose. Oh, my little furry murderer, how I love you so. Thank you. And so our first open mic reader tonight is Carl Cady, and on deck is Bob Jones.
Well, I'm going to read a poem tonight in the spirit of Pablo Neruda in terms of his imaginative morality. And it's called, Has She Really Left? Sure. Better? Okay. Sure. Has she really left? Kindness fled with her brother, wisdom. She wore an earth-colored shawl, no makeup, jeans, and sensible shoes. Her brother looked back, wide-eyed. Prematurely gray hair framed his face like a prayer. You couldn't make out anymore, but it was clear he was the shorter of the two. You assumed kindness was gone for good, as she told no one, textless, out the door. You felt her absence as dark economics, pressing into your forehead like a third unwanted eyebrow. The restaurant owner was relieved. She could no longer distract his customers. He cranked up the Slavic folk music and launched into a kick dance. But don't fear her absence. Didn't you see her unload the food boxes at the shelter? Comfort the boy with a purple knee at preschool? Direct the Somali family to the church to avoid the stench of enforcement? And sit at the intersection in a silver Lexus, where she waited patiently for you to take your turn. Though you don't see her now, she's around. Perhaps she went next door to help someone, or needed a little extra time with her brother, Wisdom. Thank you.
Bob Jones is up, and next on deck is Brian Martins.
This is a love poem, the name of which is The Greatest American Poem Since Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson wrote love poems, of course. She wrote them to a secret lover that we could spend the rest of the evening trying to discuss. But what she did with many of them was she concealed or somehow wrote about her love and lover with poems about Jesus. Take my word for it. The greatest American poem since Emily Dickinson has nothing to do with all that. Bright early morning, just before breakfast, and I'm in that dreamy state, thinking to write the greatest American poem since Emily Dickinson. And I write a line summing up the meaning of the entire universe. And to my credit, I quickly cross it out. And my dear one wants to talk about whether a king-size bed or a queen-size bed would be better for us. Or maybe twin beds, now that we're getting older. And I can only think about the nights next to her in whatever bed we slept in. She slim and lithe, or thick and great with child. 66 some years of being in bed with her. Night upon night, so that all the nights blend into one lovely night. And then there were what we called naps. Before church or after church, and once or twice at the same time as church. And I can't imagine what the difference the size or shape of the bed might make, so long as she is there beside me. Sickness and health, better or worse, beside me. And I can't think of anything at all, not even breakfast, let alone the greatest American poem since Emily Dickinson.
Next up is Brian Martins, and on deck is Jody Huddle.
Should I go up a little higher?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How's that? Better. Okay. Let's see.
I don't read this poem very often, but a friend of mine read it and said, hey, I like that poem. So, short story about it. This came from a vision quest I had in June of 2012 with Angelus Arian, a group of us in the hills of Petaluma on a super windy night in our tents. And it was a 3-day event. And so poets, you know, if the spirit speaks in the middle of the night, you wake up and you get your pen and paper and write it down. Well, this was, you know, with wind blustering and yeah, I didn't want to get up because the wind was blowing and anyway. But I forced myself and I'm glad I did. So here's the poem, Vision Wind. O spirit of the wind, blow away all my chaff, leave only the seed of my knowing. Let this seed grow in my heart, full, open, clear, and strong with possibilities. Full, open, clear, and strong with possibilities. O spirit of the wind, blow away the critical voices from my speech. Become the breath for my new voice, speaking wisdom without right or wrong, speaking wisdom without right or wrong. O spirit of the wind, blow away the weakness in my legs so I can stand strong in the force of adversity and strengthen my leadership step by step. And strengthen my leadership step by step. O spirit of the wind, blow away the gray clouds in my vision. Allow me to perceive with the eyes of eagle, to bring focus and clarity into my thoughts and actions. To bring focus and clarity into my thoughts and actions. O spirit of the wind, blow away my separateness from all things. Let me understand the mystery and the secrets of each day. Let me understand the mystery and the secrets of each day. Thank you.
Jody Hoddle, and then on deck is Arthur Dawson.
My husband tends to write me a Valentine's poem, but I tend to write him birthday poems. And so this is called April Morning, and I know it's not April, but it's definitely spring around here. April Morning. A mockingbird's melody awakens us to the sun's early rays, and humid heaviness replaces the bitter chill in the air. We have broken the back of Old Man Winter, he says, and I feel in the stirring of my blood that it is true. The slender arms of the Japanese maple, so lifeless and barren only yesterday, sprout reddish tufts, then burst with tender green shoots. The distant hills wear a mossy green coat, embellished with puffs of pink, scented with saffron and honey. Light and warmth linger, encouraging lounging and laziness, pulling against the liveliness reborn in my blood. Each year we cling more tightly to each other and the promise of spring, ever more precious, more dear. In the breeze, the lips of spring blow back a kiss.
Arthur Dawson is up, and our final poet of the evening will be Karen Bramlett.
Thanks for all the wonderful reading and music. It's been a really great evening. I hope you'll indulge me. I'd like to read two poems. The first one is by William Stafford. And has anybody here, besides Lynn Marie, anybody here go to the event in Sacramento on Friday? No. It was a wonderful event. It was called A Courage of Poets. It was on the lawn in front of the Capitol, and so poets from all over the state came, and we each read like 2 or 3 lines. And it took about I don't know, maybe an hour, but it was this very strong communal feeling, and it was in recognition and acknowledgement and in communal grief over all the people that have been killed by ice. And it was really powerful. And so I'd like to read, I only read 3 lines out of this poem by William Stafford, but I'd like to read the whole thing because I've kind of been wanting to do that ever since Friday. So it's called A Ritual to Read to Each Other. If you don't know the kind of person I am, and I don't know the kind of person you are, a pattern that others made may prevail in the world, and following the wrong God home, we may miss our star. For there is many a small betrayal in the mind, a shrug that lets the fragile sequence break, sending with shouts the horrible errors of childhood, storming out to play through the broken dike. And as elephants parading hold each other's tail, but if one wanders, the circus won't find the park. I call it cruel, and maybe the root of all cruelty, to know what occurs and not recognize the fact. And so I appeal to a voice, to something shadowy, a remote, important region in all who talk. Though we could fool each other, we should consider, lest the parade of our mutual life get lost in the dark. For it is important that awake people be awake, or a breaking line may discourage them back to sleep. The signals we give, yes or no or maybe, should be clear. The darkness around us is deep. So that's really, to me, that's really about the strength of communal love, if we can tap into it. And this is on a personal level. This I wrote for my father about 25 years ago, and I thought this poem had been lost in the fire of 2017. But I just ran across it as I was clearing out my office the other day, and I was like, yes, it came back. So it's called Approaching Invisibility. And this is also a love poem. Bleeding from the lower intestine, cheek scarred from skin cancer, fractured hip, poor circulation in the extremities, gangrene on his big toe, bladder lost to prostate cancer, needle bruises up and down his arms. My father is not in good shape. I fiddle with his catheter, bending the tube until it drains properly. My hands open and catch the warmth of the sun streaming through the glass, the light coming from such a great distance, to play on the surface of things, seeking a way in. No world without skin, without exterior, at least none that I can imagine. Over his head, the monitor makes a halo of lines and numbers, each breath and heartbeat illuminated in blue, green, yellow, and red. For a man I've often faulted for his opaqueness, it's startling to see into him so effortlessly, to read his vitals at a glance. The pretty nurse comes in to fluff his pillow. My heartbeat rises just a notch. So does his. Even after she leaves, light keeps spilling from his eyes, touching my face, seeking a way in. Lately, he's been fascinated with neutrinos, how the universe as they know it is transparent, a place without surface, one great interior. They're the nearest thing to nothing that's still something, he says. So small and inconsequential, they could travel light years through lead.
Karen Bramlett.
Shawna asked me as I walked in the door if I'd like to share something, and so this has nothing to do with love. It's just a poem that I'm happy to say came out in Rust and Moth this month. And I spent a lot of time on outdoors, and especially I love the Santa Rosa Creek Trail, walking and biking there. And a lot of my poetry has been inspired by those walks and bike rides. And in this poem, the title runs into the first line. A canoe, oarless and no one to steer it, brims with rainwater from an atmospheric river ramming the earth 3 days before. The dirt beneath has dried. 3 benches span the oblong pond like bridges, and a corner of cloud floats in it like a wish. Something, yes, something in my life is this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening to these fantastic open mic poets. Let's give them another hand. And there's a couple more poetry readings coming up. One is on this Thursday, the 12th. Brian Martins hosts Speakeasy, and it's at the Santa Rosa Arts Center. So come on down to that. I think that's at 6 p.m., correct now? 6 to 8? And then on March 4th, I'm going to be reading along with Bob Jones out at in Guerneville at the Russian River Books and Letters bookstore. And that's going to be from 7 to 8:30. And both of these readings will have open mics too. So come on out and bring some of your best work for us. So thank you all so much.
Well, how'd it go? I thought that was wonderful, you guys. Listening to an open mic is quite a joy, really. You know, there's not a lot of sweat that goes into it. You get to come by, do a poem, maybe 2 poems. It's not a rigor of any kind. People come up here, you know, enjoy reading to people. And especially you've been a wonderful audience. I mean, this is very welcoming. There's one more thing I'd like to do. Chappell Holt has a birthday, and Chappell used to live in Sonoma County and moved to Concord and has come back and can't do without Sonoma County and has moved into town with her husband Dave. Why don't we sing a happy birthday to her? All right. I'll lead it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chappell. Happy birthday to you. Okay, that's it for this evening. Could we do some little bit of photo shoot? Have our crew, everybody who read, come on up, fill the stage, get some pictures, send them out on Facebook, give them to your friends, your parents, your kids. All right?